Tinubu versus Peter Obi. Who is really better for Nigeria? Two men, one country. 220 million people caught in the middle. On one side, a sitting president who removed the fuel subsidy, crashed the naira, spent 196 days abroad in a single year, but also grew Nigeria's GDP and dropped food prices by 50%. On the other side, a man who never won the presidency, has changed parties 4 times, made claims about his record that official documents have contradicted, but who donated 576 million naira of his own money to ordinary Nigerians while the president was on his 14th foreign trip. Nigeria has been arguing about these two men since 2023. Tonight, the silent mentor ends the argument. With facts, with data, with the truth neither side wants to admit. Who is actually better for Nigeria? Not who has the better supporters, not who has the better social media team, not who says the right things at press conferences. Who has the better record? Who has the better plan? And who, when you strip away the noise, the propaganda, and the tribal loyalties, actually gives Nigeria the best chance of becoming what it should be? That is the question, and tonight we answer it honestly, even if the answer makes you uncomfortable. Let's start with the man actually in power. Bola Tinubu became president in May 2023 and immediately made the most controversial economic decision in Nigeria's recent history, removing the fuel subsidy. The naira collapsed. Inflation exploded. Ordinary Nigerians felt the pain immediately and intensely. But 3 years later, the data tells a more complicated story. Food production in Nigeria has increased significantly under Tinubu, with food prices dropping nationwide by an average of 50% in 2025. GDP has grown consistently. Nigeria recorded trade surpluses. These are real numbers from real data. But here's what those numbers don't show. Tinubu spent 196 out of 365 days outside Nigeria in 2025 alone, more than he spent in his own country at a time when Nigeria faced worsening poverty, hunger, insecurity, and unemployment. No budget implementation report was released in 2025, regardless of how poor the performance was. The federal government stopped publishing treasury reports on the opentreasury.gov.ng portal, dismantling a vital transparency framework. You can grow food prices and hide how you're spending the money. Both things can be true simultaneously. Now, Peter Obi, the man the Obidient movement believes would have saved Nigeria. What does his actual record show? As governor of Anambra State, his achievements were real and documented. He saved money in a country where governors routinely loot. He invested in infrastructure and education. He left Anambra in better shape than he found it. That is genuinely true and genuinely rare in Nigeria. But in the first half of 2025 alone, Peter Obi donated over 576 million naira to various causes, including 100 million naira to IHM Health System in Anambra State and 50 million naira to Christ the King College in Onitsha. A man not in office, giving more directly to ordinary Nigerians than most politicians give in a lifetime. That is also genuinely true. But here is the documented complication. On key development indicators such as security, human development index, life expectancy, GDP per capita, literacy levels, and electricity access, Kenya consistently outperforms Nigeria. Peter Obi himself cited these statistics to criticize Tinubu. But Anambra under Obi, while better than most Nigerian states, also faced serious security challenges, infrastructure gaps, and governance limitations that his supporters rarely discuss. Let's put the actual numbers side by side, because opinions are cheap. Data is rare. Under Tinubu's presidency, Nigeria has implemented budgets totaling over 114 trillion naira in less than 3 years, 21.83 trillion naira in 2023, 35.06 trillion naira in 2024, and 54.99 trillion naira in 2025. Where exactly that money went, with Treasury reports stopped and budget implementation reports missing, is a question 220 million Nigerians cannot currently answer. Under Peter Obi's vision, he has consistently pointed out that Nigeria's GDP per capita stands at $807 to $835, compared to Kenya's $2,200 to $2,300. About 63% of Nigerians live below the poverty line, compared to approximately 43% in Kenya. These are the numbers he says a President Obi would fix. But the honest question nobody asks is how? With what plan? Funded by what revenue? Implemented through what institutions? Here is the twist that will make both fan bases furious. Tinubu and Peter Obi are not opposites. They are products of the same system. One built his power through Lagos political machinery, government contracts, and 4 decades of strategic alliance building. The other built his profile through calculated frugality, strategic charity, and 4-party defections over 15 years. Both are extraordinarily intelligent. Both are deeply ambitious. Both have records with genuine achievements and genuine contradictions. And both, when examined honestly, represent different versions of the same Nigerian political reality. A reality where getting to power requires compromises that complicate everything you promised before you got there. The question Nigeria keeps asking is Tinubu or Peter Obi. The question Nigeria should be asking is, what system keeps producing leaders where these are our only choices? While Nigeria debates Tinubu versus Peter Obi on Twitter, real Nigerians are making impossible choices every single day. The student who can't afford exam fees. The trader whose profit margin disappeared with inflation. The graduate who has sent 200 job applications and received 0 responses. The mother who skipped her own medication to pay her child's school fees. These people don't care who wins the argument on social media. They care who will fix the light, who will make the roads work, who will make their children's future feel possible. And the devastating truth is that both Tinubu and Peter Obi, whatever their individual qualities, exist within a system that has consistently failed these people for 60 years. The argument about which man is better matters, but it matters less than the argument about what Nigeria needs to fundamentally change so that the next generation doesn't have this same conversation about 2 different names. So who is better for Nigeria? Here is the silent mentor's honest verdict. On documented record, Peter Obi's gubernatorial performance was more transparent and more fiscally disciplined than what Tinubu's presidency has demonstrated so far. On actual power and implementation, Tinubu has shown he can make hard economic decisions, even when they are painful, and some of those decisions are beginning to show real results. Neither man is the savior Nigeria's supporters claim. Neither man is the disaster Nigeria's critics claim. They are both complicated human beings in an extraordinarily complicated country, doing what politicians do, pursuing power, making promises, delivering partially, disappointing completely in other ways. Nigeria deserves better than choosing between two imperfect options and pretending the chosen one is perfect. Nigeria deserves a system where imperfect leaders are held accountable, where transparency is mandatory, where ordinary people's lives actually improve, regardless of which name sits in Aso Rock. The silent mentor because history whispers. We listen. Subscribe now, because the next secret is the one that decides your future.